What's going on, guys? White Fox 1225 here, and it's time again to talk about the Division. So we got a leaked trailer, we got some news on leveling, post-launch content, the map, a bunch of stuff came out this week, so figured I'd make another episode and just talk about all the stuff we learned, all the news as usual. So let's just get started with leveling. So the Division will have 30 levels for you to progress through, and the game will be split up into zones, kind of like World of Warcraft or the Elder Scrolls Online or any other theme park MMO. Now the Dark Zone, which is the Division's PvP area, will also be split up into zones. That's going to have 6 different zones depending on your level. You're going to be in one of those. But once you hit the level cap, which is 30 again, you're going to be able to go through all of the Dark Zone, and the Dark Zone repopulates with all new content, challenges, and enemies suitable to your level. So when you hit the level cap, the Dark Zone is kind of the end game, and that's going to be where you're hanging out for the rest of the game until some, DLC or something comes out. So in the Division, you can have 2 loadouts, 2 different guns, and you're going to be able to switch between them even in mid-combat, kind of like the Elder Scrolls Online, and you're going to be able to have different skills, just 2 completely different loadouts for you to switch between at any time. You will be able to play the Division solo, they said, if you want to. Obviously it is an MMO, so you can play with other players, but the game does scale to how many players you're with. So, if you just have one player, the game's going to, be able to tell that and going to give you, a appropriate challenge instead of like if you're with 4 players, obviously some more enemies are going to spawn. The game will have 10 main missions, and they're all like kind of combat focused, and they're more linear, like story oriented experiences, but there's also going to be some other quests and more open world stuff that you can do. So it's kind of a mix of like the linear story missions and also some other side missions and things you do when you just exploring the world. And then of course there's also the PvP in the Dark Zone. And once you finish all 10 of those missions, you can come back and try a hard mode, which is just the same mission but with a harder challenge, harder enemies, and things like that. Now moving on, let's talk about the post-launch content. I thought this was pretty exciting. So they said they're going to kick off the post-launch content with a couple free updates, some new content and new features, and then eventually we'll have some normal DLC. So the free updates they're talking about will hopefully be some new content to try to hook people in, but eventually we will have paid DLC, something that probably costs $15 and adds some new story missions and things like that, maybe some new zones. I know I've been using this example a lot, but this payment system is pretty similar to the Elder Scrolls Online. It doesn't have a monthly subscription, but you will be able to buy, DLC as you continue on. Now the thing I'm happiest about is they did announce that there will be absolutely no microtransactions in the Division, even though at one point in the development they thought they were going to have them. There will be absolutely no microtransactions in the game, which is great, and I think everyone's probably happy about that. Now the map will only have part of Manhattan in the game. A lot of people thought that was going to be Brooklyn or the Bronx or other New York boroughs, but it's only going to be mid-Manhattan, and they said they're definitely going to open up the game with some DLC, with some new zones, but it's only going to be the Manhattan area for the base game that's coming. Now, like I said, the game will be split up into zones, and each zone will have a safe house for you to use, and through the safe house you're going to unlock new missions and things like that. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope you learned something. This game is coming up pretty quickly. It does look like it's going to be launched on the launch date they said after delaying it a couple times. But pretty excited for this. Definitely expect me to keep covering it. So if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one, guys.